The next talk is by Aaron Cruz. This one will bomb you up.
1 second, please.
Okay. Welcome back from lunch, everyone. This is supposed to be a horrible slump because everyone's tired and full of food. Let's see if that's true or not. Since I was a kid, I've had a lot of luck with my name. There's 2 A's at the beginning of it, so I got picked first for a lot of things, and it just was a wonderful experience. And it's also moved into my adult life. This was RubyConf India, and the RubyConf India before and the GopherConf Indias. It looks like I'm the keynote speaker. And if you look kind of down the list, you see I'm the first speaker. You move down, you keep moving. There's a lot of speakers in between there. And you finally get to the bottom and it's Matt's. So my name, I love it. So I grew up in the suburbs of the suburbs. I grew up in a town called Everett, which is the suburb of Seattle in the States. And I grew up in the suburbs actually of Everett. And my neighborhood actually looked a lot like this. The houses in my neighborhood looked a lot like this. And I grew up, my best friend when I was a kid was a half Filipino kid named Ryan. And his dad was from Pangasinan. And so my whole kind of lens upon Philippine culture and like the language and the food is through one human being, and that's kind of it's a little bit strange, and I'm happy to be here to kind of open it up a little bit more. And also, since I was like 13 and 15, I learned some Pangasinan, and it was stuff that a 13 or 15-year-old boy would want to learn. So if anyone wants to teach me some not horrible things, that would be awesome. This talk is going to be a bit about chatbots, a bit about my journey, I guess, to building chatbots. My journey, that sounds really dramatic. And it's also a talk about scratching your own itch. So I don't know if it's kind of a cultural thing, the saying scratch your own itch here, because it sounds pretty disgusting if it's not. But do people say that? Is that a thing? It looks like there's 0 response. We got one nod here. It means like if you have a problem, solve it yourself with kind of the skill set that you have. So if you're like a woodworker and you have a problem, do something with wood. Or if you're a programmer, maybe build an app, some kind of a complicated bash script, and solve your problem with it. So as a kid growing up, I was overweight. I wasn't obese, but like I always have had kind of body issues, like always. I kind of look like a slug, like through my whole life. And I've started doing fitnessy things, and then stopped, and then started again, and then stopped again. And I started, I don't know, a few years ago, I started Couch to 5K. Is anyone familiar with Couch to 5K? For those of you who aren't, it's a program, it's like an app generally, where you're supposed to be like a slob sitting on your couch, like shoving bacon in your mouth, and then go from there to be able to run a 5K within like 8 weeks or some short amount of time. So I started it and then broke my foot and then got better and then didn't run for half a year and then started running again and got another ankle injury. And finally, I think 3 months ago, I finally got to the 5K and then got beyond it and I'm not injured. And at RubyConf India, did the 5K international run, my first run ever. Here's the beginning of it. Here's the middle with my cheerleaders. It was on a pretty gnarly street. And then here we are at the end. And I placed third, and I was very proud of myself. Thank you. So there's this exercise called the Ruby that is pretty much like hated around the world, I think, for people that know about it. used as punishment in the US military. So it's not like drop and give me 50 push-ups, it's drop and give me 50 burpees, and everyone's like, oh, this is not good. This is not good at all. So, any of my burpee volunteers? Burpee volunteers, please? Can you go up to the stage, burpee volunteers? We have a special volunteer also. You're all special. Okay. So I think that I can't have the mic. Maybe I can put it in my pocket or no, it's not good. So I'll just be loud like I generally am. So it starts out where you're standing, and then you go into a squat. Everyone into a squat. You're not gonna have that room now. Into a squat. Go hands on the ground. Kick back into a push-up position, do a push-up, up, forward, jump up in the air. And that's a burpee. Thank you volunteers, thank you very much. So I actually didn't start my gross statement doing it, so let's move on. So I decided to scratch my own itch that I would build a chatbot that made me do 30,000 burpees in a year. So this averages about to 80 a day. I'm not ready to do 80 a day, but I do some. And yeah, so it's a good time. So if you're, like, people are really into before and after pictures, so we can do that. This is me and my, I think she was 1.5 at the time, we both have crack. This is me more recently. I have a chubbier neck and holding a banana. And the after is, this was, I think in early December, I weighed like 81 kilos or something, and now I'm at like 73, and it keeps going down. And it's a good time. It's mostly diet, though. It's not mostly burpees. It's like, it's ridiculous. But, so this is me not looking strong. And if you want to follow me on Twitter, this is who I am. If anyone wants to take an important picture of me, like at the podium, so I can use it as my avatar on Twitter, please. I build chatbots mostly with the Messenger platform, actually only with the Messenger platform. And I also started a new project called RemoteBot, which is a chatbot that will send you remote developer job messages that match your profile perfectly. So you're not going to get a bunch of like Magento jobs when you're a Ruby developer. Check it out. It's how funding the world. So, chatbots. What is a chatbot? Chatbots have become kind of interesting these days, but a lot of people are considering them kind of just a fad. Like, this is just happening now, and in the near future, we're not going to care about chatbots anymore. Like, Galton, I think, said that yesterday. So I think that they're interesting because people have been really using the crap out of these messenger apps lately. This is an old slide. I only have old graphs for some reason. You can see that WeChat, that WhatsApp have a huge user base. Here also, this is a more recent one. You can see Messenger joined in. Messenger has 800 million at this point, but they're above 1 billion now, because this is, again, an old graph. And my favorite part about building chatbots, they have their own like simple UI. People are used to using them. They're used to talking to their friends already. There's only a few things like audio and video and chat bubbles and things. But my absolute favorite part is that I don't have to use JavaScript at all anymore. And even better, like this is the worst thing. This is the worst thing. So I don't have to touch this at all anymore. If you're not familiar with what a chatbot is, it's essentially a web app. It's a simulated conversation that you have with, instead of one of your Facebook friends, it's a computer, it's a web app. The way that they work is someone is using their Messenger client in their phone, just their Messenger app. They write a message, send it. The message gets sent from their app to Facebook server. And then Facebook will send a message to your web application, to some kind of webhook that you have set up with the user's Facebook ID. The Facebook ID is how you will recognize the user inside of your app. They also send the text or whatever the user had written. So you process that inside your app, like magical things happen, and then The slide goes to the next one. And then you send a response. But you don't respond directly to Facebook. You use like an HTTP library like NetHTTP or Typhoeus or HTTP Party or whatever people are using these days. And you send a message to Facebook server when you're done. You include the user's Facebook ID so you can identify them so Facebook knows who to send the message to. And then they send the message and it shows up in the user's chat queue. Wonderful, magic web apps. So most chatbots have a really, really kind of defined feature set. There's they need to serve HTTP requests, receive them at this webhook that you set up. They need to route them to the correct handler, so just kind of like in Rails, just using the routing, but it uses text instead. It's fairly similar. You need to respond to the user. You need to, per platform, have a certain data structure that you send to them. If you're using Telegram, it needs to look one way. If you're using Facebook Messenger, it needs to look another way. And you need to hold this conversational state between different requests. And I'll get more into this later, this last point. So because all of those things you need for most chatbots, I built my own little chatbot framework because frameworks are really fun to build. We're going to look at some of the framework code now, just for funsies. What we have here is something you can't read anywhere, but this is the whole HTTP handling part of the application. This is the whole HTTP. This is a Sinbatra, and it runs. If anyone could think of a better name, I would definitely change it. There's a couple middle layers that come through, and then the really interesting part of this whole thing is this post request that gets pretty much all of the messages that come in from Facebook. It pulls this message that I've normalized out of the request in the middleware, and then just sends it into the framework, and then forget about it. It's in the framework. So Sinatra is really just being used as kind of an endpoint to push things into your framework. So we're going to look at some examples from the actual implementation of the Ruby bot. When you're building a bot with this framework, you would inherit from Sinbatra Messenger bot. This is your main bot class. This is kind of the entry point of everything. I had this being really DSL oriented before, that there would be conversation macros that then had step macros inside of them, and then this here macro that took a regular expression. But I found out that at a certain point, I didn't know what was happening where. I knew going into it that a DSL was a horrible idea, but I still did it anyway, and then just taught myself again that it's a horrible idea. Maybe some people have really good experiences with them, but I always find that it just confuses the crap out of me at some point. So here's a listener macro that you give it a list of, or a hash. These are the matchers. So this is what happens when a request comes into the framework. It says, can I match this hi, hello, yo? If I can, then call the greet method in this method or in this class. Same with start begin, call start. Here is the greet method that gets called. It gets a message. Then we have this platform. So this is the Messenger client, and there's sugar around the Messenger client. This library is available right now on GitHub, on my GitHub account, if you want to just start sending messages to Messenger right now. This is the say, it just will send a text message to the user. And then the interesting part of this is this start conversation method, which will start the onboarding conversation. So conversations are kind of I think one of the hardest parts, I guess, language processing and then conversational state would be the two hardest parts of dealing with any kind of bot development. And most of the frameworks that I find don't give you kind of sugar and niceties to be able to do this. A lot of the Node ones do, but I don't want to write JavaScript, so I started building this. I stole their APIs and then started building this guy. So what I mean by conversation, I'll show you an example from the bot that I built. It's a really, really useful bot. It's called the Burgers and Beer bot. And this bot helps you find burgers and beer near where you are. So you start your conversation, you hit the get started button. This is just going into, I think it's m.me/burgers and beer bot. or there'll be a link later in the thing. I guess the thing is a talk. So you click this Get Started button. The bot starts talking to you. It says, hey, if we're going to find some burgers here, I need to know where you are. So you send in your location. Here's my location at one point in my life. Then you get to choose if you're looking for burgers, beer, or both. Maybe I think I chose burgers this time. And it shows me a list of burger places near me. So at this point, the bot needs to know who you are to send you messages. It needs to know where you are, and it needs to know what you're looking for, burgers, beer, or both. And it also needs to know where you are in the pagination of your answers. So it needs to know kind of the state of your conversation and data and who you are. So there's like these things that you need for any bot that's I think, interesting in any way. So this bot is built with Elixir. You can also see the source code for my first Elixir project, which is going to be really fun to look at just some garbage code. And there'll be links to that as well. But this is you can create your own burgers in your bot if you want to. It's good times. So the way that I've done conversations in this framework is very similar to the listeners. On the left, you can see the names of the conversations, kind of the symbols for them, where I said start conversation before. And on the right, you can see these conversation classes, which you need to implement, which we'll look at now. Here is something you can't read, and then still you can't read it probably. Can anyone in the back see this? Is it possible? No? I'm not going to read it out. So you're inheriting from the conversation. You have these step methods that are, it's a list of kind of your state machine. So when you go to the next step in the conversation, this is the method to call. And then here is a step defined. You get a message like before, you can call it to platform, and you can also call next step. So you go to the next step in the conversation. And I think that this, just to get up and running with building a bot, saves just an incredible amount of time. There's also a lot of NLP as a service going on. NLP is natural language processing. So generally the question that you get asked is, what if the user asks something insane? Or what if you don't know how to answer something? There are a lot of services that help you out with that now. They're generally free to use. Here is what I call the default handler. This is if a user asks a question, if they send you a message and you check and they're not in a conversation, and you don't have any matches that match what they're trying to ask or say, it gets sent to this default handler. The default handler, the most interesting part for me, is this get intent method. What this will do is call out to your NLP as a service of choice and find out kind of what the user is trying to ask or say within some sort of confidence level. The one that I use the most is a platform called Wit AI. This was purchased by Google in 2015, I think. And it's free to use. You just have a limit of 1 request per second, but you can do some caching if you're not using some of their features. So it gets reasonable. It's reasonable to a point, and maybe you're catching a lot of the users' requests anyway before it even gets sent out here. So it's free. Did I say that? So one example, this is an example I see a lot, is kind of like a weather bot. And what you would send in a message like, what's the weather in London, or how's the weather in London, how's the weather in Bohol, and it would send you back a JSON structure that no one in the back can read that says intent is weather and the location is London. So it could pull things out of your text. You have previously trained it, and let's look at how you train it. You send it you give it some sort of text, then you can highlight different kinds of entities. They were calling a message. So, and the intent would be to, I don't know, in this case, call. So, if you keep training it with different kinds of things that sound similar and keep highlighting the areas that would be the message, it eventually starts to learn kind of what those things mean. So you can start sending it even messages that it doesn't understand, and it will try and be like, okay, I think that you're trying to say this, and just send you this nice little JSON packet back that's like, hey, here's exactly what they use. You get data instead of just open text, which is wonderful. Another thing that's a part of the framework that is, I think, really useful is an idea of action. That's what I'm calling it. You have an action which has a perform method, and this is something that you might want to call from outside of the framework. So, for example, with the RubyBot, I need to be reminded every day that I have a workout that I need to do. So this will look through all of the athletes in the database and find the ones that need to have a workout right now, and then it will send them a message. But it's in the context of the conversation, where normally from the outside world you wouldn't have that context. And here's how I would call it. I have like some kind of a rake tasks that would be called every day. And yeah, it works wonderfully. It's a really great thing. So how many of you have actually used a chatbot before? I want to see hands. A lot, okay. Have any of you who have used a chatbot ever argued with a chatbot before? We got one argument? Okay, cool. So this is, Poncho is a bot that is a web bot. And Poncho will send you messages like this. So I opened up my messenger feed from Poncho one time, and this is what I saw. And I don't know, I was having a weird day, I'd eaten something strange, but it made me somehow really deeply angry. And you'll see that there's kind of like a weird side of my personality that comes out from this interaction that I had with Poncho. I'm not normally like this though. So I sent Poncho this message. I blurted out because I got in trouble at RubyConf India. And this is what Poncho responded with. Yeah, it continues like this. So I don't know what came over me. This is kind of a super weird thing to say to a bot. And then Poncho was smug as ever, telling me never mind. So I then struck out at the developers. I don't know. I see that a lot in Android reviews that people hate developers, but that it became me in this case. And then, of course, this is how Poncho responds. And it went on like this for quite a while. There's a guy in Poncho. And this is the mood that I was in. Like, this happens sometimes. Another guy in Poncho. But thank you very much. If you want to get some job offers, go to motorbot.com. You can find some links to the bots and things I talked about at computer.computer or at bot.ws. And so Simbatra is something that I want to open source, but I'm not ready to, and I kind of don't want to deal with other people's opinions or issues. But I probably will open source it soon. But if you want to start using it now and even look at the source code, how untested and horrible it is, you can just do gem install Simbatra and you will get the gem. But there's no GitHub repository. So yeah, wunderbar. So thank you very much, and I am happy to. Yeah, cool. Bye.
There were several questions.
Has anyone devised a way to hook up chatbots to iMessage? I don't know.
This is market for exercise.
Have you ever tried deploying this with some commerce phone application like sending order taking?
No.
You need someone in the back so Ariel can run over later.
Looks like there's no more questions.
Thank you.